Solo: A Star Wars Story, the expanded edition by Mur Lafferty, came out yesterday. It includes a number of scenes and revelations not found in the movie, so today I'm going to go over the biggest ones and my thoughts on them. There will be spoilers for the book ahead, and I mean that even if you've seen the movie. Some of the extra passages detail scenes that we know were deleted from the final cut. For example, Han and Qi'ra's attempted escape from Corellia is longer, showing them run through a fish market and hiding in a barrel of eels to mask their scent. The now infamous Tag and Bink scene is also present. The two characters are called by their full names, and they are a minor part of Han's time as an Imperial cadet, specifically a tribunal that results in him being sent to Mimban after going against Imperial protocol to save a fellow pilot, and then crash landing in a Star Destroyer hangar. Tag and Bink are described by Han as colossal screw-ups that will likely get themselves killed one day. But the best moments from the book are scenes that were added to enrich the universe. I actually think this book was one of the stronger novelizations. I really liked the Rogue One adaptation, for example, and I felt that it improved upon the characters, but it all seemed like content that really should have been in the movie itself. While there are some of those fix-the-movie issue moments in Solo, Lafferty is much more straightforward with the film content and then had some fun adding more connective tissue to other Star Wars stories. The best example is the epilogue, which shows a meeting between Enfys Nest and Saw Gerrera. An 11-year-old Jyn Erso comes along for the ride, and the two young girls bond. It makes perfect sense that Nest and Gerrera would meet at some point, and it helps bridge that gap between Tutube's time in the Cloud Riders before he eventually makes his way over to the Partisans. Scenes like that didn't need to be in Solo: A Star Wars Story, but the novelization is a good, fun place to tell us a meeting like that happened. But let's talk about the star of the film, because we do learn a little more about Han's history. Even though I'm still not a big fan of the origin of his last name, it makes a little more sense in the book. Han thinks about how he just lost Qi'ra, and of course he thinks about his actual birth parents, but it's clear that he doesn't consider them to be his people, so to speak. He doesn't want to be associated with them, so he stubbornly says he has no people. I still think it's a little eye-rolly, but I could at least see where Han was coming from. He does recall his father a little more throughout the book, and it's stated that he abandoned Han as a child, but we don't learn any more about Han's mother. Qi'ra gets a lot of extra development. I think her additional scenes were some of the best in the book. After Han escapes, we learn that Lady Proxima sold her to a slave trader who then turned around and sold her to Dryden Voss. She tried to escape repeatedly, but Dryden admired her determination and was eventually able to help her accept her new life. He made her kill for him and even encouraged her to track down and kill the slaver that bought and sold her. While a lot of that was implied in the movie, it's good to have some of the details cleared up, but I still think they left enough to the imagination that there's some mystery surrounding her. We also learned that her meeting with Maul at the end of the movie was only the second time they had ever spoken. Maul pulling his lightsaber to him and igniting it was basically a revelation to Qi'ra that he had Force abilities. I could have used a little more Chewbacca in the book, but the extra information we get was good. A lot of people have been asking if Chewie ate people in the pit on Mimban, and it is confirmed that he did not. After his escape with Han sitting around the campfire, he talks about wanting to return to Kashyyyk to liberate his planet, which strongly ties back into Aftermath Life Debt, where Han finally helps Chewie do exactly that. There are also a couple of funny passages about how he has to take multiple showers to clean the mud off of his coat, and one of the showers is on the Falcon, which results in him using all of Lando's very expensive hair products, leaving the shower covered in hair and mud. Lando's reaction to all of that was hilarious. Oh, and while flying through an ion storm escaping Kessel in the Millennium Falcon, Chewie's hair frizzes out, which was likely based on some concept art you can find in the Art of Solo book. Speaking of the Falcon, let's talk about L337's installation into the navigational computer. There have been lots of discussions online about the ethics of installing a sentient mind into a ship where she would then be stuck forever. This is where I think the novel was trying to hand-wave that away. Although she isn't crazy about the idea at first, she comes around and decides she would rather exist as part of a ship instead of not exist at all, and she has a nice goodbye with Lando. I don't know, I think it's all still very morally questionable when you think about it, but I also don't think the filmmakers were trying to raise those kinds of questions. It's an interesting discussion, and it's just fresh on my mind because we actually had a droid sentience panel at DragonCon 2 days ago, and we talked about this quite a bit. Finally, I want to touch on Beckett's crew. We get to know a little more about their fourth member named Corso. Technically, he's in the movie. He's the guy with the big minigun blaster. He helped Beckett, Val, and Rio infiltrate the Imperial Army and get uniforms. He dies on the battlefield, making Chewie's addition to the crew a little more necessary because they basically lost their muscle. Val and Rio get a little more characterization, and we learn about a few of their other adventures, but it's unfortunately nothing overly significant. However, when Han sees the affection Val and Beckett have for each other, he notes what love looks like when you're allowed to have it, and I just thought that passage was really well stated and sad. There are plenty of other smaller details to be found in the book, and I'll probably do a video on them soon, but I wanted to focus today on the more significant information that helps us better understand the characters and their stories. Like I said, the book came out yesterday, and if you're interested in diving into Solo even more, you can get the audiobook for free on Audible. Just follow the link in the description or visit www.audibletrial.com/Star Wars Explained and you'll get 1 free credit you can use on the Solo novelization or any other Star Wars book, or get any book you want. The point is, you get a free audiobook and you'll be supporting the channel when you do. But that's it for today. If you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and consider checking out our Patreon page. As always, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.